Hi guys, it's Lily. Sorry about the traffic noise outside. I've got all the windows open because it's swelteringly hot. It's really humid actually. It's been raining and I am absolutely, absolutely dripping, vile, sweaty mess. It's awful. Anyway, that's why the camera is not facing me, because that's not what you want to see right now. So yeah, I've got the windows open, so there might be a little bit of traffic noise. I do apologise, but there's no way I'm closing those windows right now. I wanted to talk to you about the Gelli Plate family, because if you've watched the previous jelly printing videos, you'll know that I bought this one. And this is the 8x10. So to give you an idea, I'm just going to lift you up. To give you an idea of size, that's my hand, that's the Gelli Plate. Okay, because I know that if you're like me, and you know, there are a lot of people out there. Oh, and the tripod's drunk. Sorry. If there are a lot of people out there similar to myself, you'd say 8x10 or whatever measurement, and it's quite hard to sum that up in your brain. How, excuse me, hiccups. How those dimensions actually look. So I will show you and you know, use my hand as a guide to show you the rough idea. I don't have huge hands, I don't have small hands, so I don't know. I don't know what you want to do with that, but I'm trying to be helpful. There's a little bit of glare from the window, sorry. So this is the 8x10, and this was perfect for using A4, which is 8.5x11 if you are in the States, paper, because it does cover it, but you get a small border, and I can deal with that. I can deal with a small border because I can always trim that off if I don't want it, but then I've got the option of having it if I do want to keep it. I don't think I will be investing in the bigger one, which is 12 inches by 14. Not at the moment anyway. If I find that I continue to be addicted to these things, because as you can probably tell that I've gone from not being in love with it to it taking over my every waking moment practically, that's why I've invested in the other two. So there's a possibility that I'll get the bigger one, and I will mainly use that for fabric printing. I've actually bought a pair of white linen trousers that I'm going to use the Gelli Plate. Can I have my teeth back, please? Thank you. Going to use this Gelli Plate on to print them. I don't do white. I'm a plus size woman. White trousers is not the best. Obviously, I'm not saying you can't wear white trousers if you're a plus size woman. If you like white trousers and you want to wear white trousers, then you do that. But personally, for me, it's a no-go. So that's why I'm going to print them and make them look funky and awesome, cover them in pretty paint and all manner of stencils and stuff, and then nobody is going to have that pair of trousers except for me, because you know, it's going to be complete original. And I thought I'd get the white because then every colour is going to show up nicely. It's a good background, as you all know, obviously. So that's why I picked up the white ones. Anyway, moving along. So this is the big, well, the biggest one I have. Then we have the 5x7, and that is lengthwise it's about the size of my hand, and it's only slightly smaller than my hand span. 5x7 is a size that you can get for photographs. I know usually it's 4x6, but you can get 5x7s as well. So that gives you an idea of the size of this one. Now this one I found is perfect for smaller papers, and I was getting rather irate with the 8x10 plate because for how I wanted it to look, I could only use 12x12 stencils. Unless I used several at a time, which started to get on my nerves, I have to use a 12 by 12 so that it completely covers the sheet. I don't like it when there's like one little stencil here and then all this paint that ends up just being paint with no texture or design or anything. And even though I tried to put 2 sheets height wise along it rather than doing it lengthways, it still wasn't working how I wanted it to. And again, obviously everybody's different, you've all got different preferences. If you can make it work like that, then that's fantastic. I personally couldn't make it work. It was not working for me. So I thought, you know what, it's an investment, it's a tool, I'm going to be using it a lot, hopefully, and it's something that as long as I look after it, which I'm going to do obviously, and keep it stored how you're supposed to store it in its original package with the 2 bits of acetate over the top and the bottom of the plate, it's going to last forever. These things are going to outlast me probably. So I thought, you know what, it's an investment. If the bigger one isn't doing what you want it to, then go for the smaller one. And originally I was going to buy all 3 at once, and then I thought, no, just get the larger one, see how you get on with it, because you might not like it. And as it turned out, the first time I did it, I wasn't completely smitten. But nobody told me that jelly plates are like artists' cocaine. It is super addictive. I don't know if there's some kind of like jelly arts anonymous kind of a group. I'm just waiting to sit in a room and stand up and say, hi, my name is Lily and I have an addiction to jelly printing, and then the whole room claps. So yeah, I have a problem, but it's not really a problem because it is creating various arty things and it's all good. So anyway, I've gone off on a tangent. So I got this one because it is perfect for A5 size, which is half of an A4 sheet, if you don't know what A5 is. So that would be half of an 8.5 by 11 if you cut it across the middle. That's how you get A5. So it's perfect for that. It's also perfect for book paper. I'll just grab some to show you. This is the guts of one of the books I got at the charity shop when I got a huge bundle for £1. And I took all the covers off to use on junk journals and stuff. So I've just kept that in there. As you can see, I've pulled out quite a lot of pages so far, and that sits perfectly on the Gelli Plate, so I can get an all over print, and it looks great. It's also a book that I wasn't interested in reading at all, and I would be happy to cover up all of the text. I don't want to be able to read it, but it's nice to have, you can see text behind it, so you know that there's text and it's a book page, but you don't know what it says. So, that's all good. So I've been using that. So that is the 5x7, and I will show you some of the prints that I've pulled off of these. I was playing with the 2 smaller ones last night, and I'll show you the ones that I've pulled off from that in a second. So there we have the 5x7, and this little dude here is the 3x5. And originally I thought, you know what on earth am I going to do with a 3x5 plate? And you might all be looking at that and thinking, wow, that's like tiny. It's an inch longer than a 3x4 journaling card. So, it's tiny, but it's fantastic. I absolutely love this because I couldn't get on, as I said, with having a smaller sheet of paper or fabric on the larger plate. This thing's marvellous because you can do small pieces. You could do like a patchwork with it because it's large enough so you can see the design, but it's small enough to be able to create a patchwork effect, and you could then use it on a larger thing, or you could just cut it to size and then do loads of patches and then stitch them together, which I think would be awesome. And I may well try that. You're here ready, listening to the birth of an idea, and I'm going to give that a go. So look out for that in another video, because I'm definitely going to try that. So anyway, this the 3x5. I did try it with the Project Life cards, and I didn't like it because, again, you got a very big border of smushy paint, which irritated me. And if you lay two across, I didn't like it. It wasn't printing how I wanted it to print. Again, if you can make it work and you're happy with that, then excellent, good for you. Personally, I didn't. But I did find that this one is perfect for postcards. And this packet of postcards actually came from my grandparents' bungalow when we were up there, and I was collecting some of my granddad's things, just to keep as mementos, stuff that was sentimental to me, and most of it wouldn't have meant anything to anybody else. So it wasn't like it was expensive things or anything like that. But we happened to be looking in a drawer because that's where the photographs were, and there was this pack of plain postcards. And they've obviously used like one or two out of it, but that other than that, there was like almost a whole packet there. And I thought, well, if anybody else finds them in the drawer, then they're just going to look at it and go, oh, what can I do with that? I'll put it in the recycling bin, and that'd be the end of it. But I knew that I could actually use them and make some art with them, so that's what I did. And it turns out that this plate is the perfect size. Again, you get a little bit of white border, but it's the perfect size for printing on postcards. And I tend to favour smaller substrates, to be honest. With the A4, I do fold it in half. And as you've seen, the other prints that I've taken, I've folded that in half. So I just seem to naturally gravitate to a smaller size. So this thing is brilliant. I absolutely love this. I've got well, if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know, I've got the We Are Memory Keepers 3x4 punch. So I can use that with these, that they're going to come out a similar size to this, and I can use them on this small Gelli plate, so I can have Gelli printed 3x4 cards, which is awesome in itself, if you ask me. And also the possibility of making art postcards, which can then actually be sent in the post. I have done that previously. I sent some watercolour postcards to a couple of friends. I didn't tell them it was coming, it was going to be a surprise, so they were quite pleased that they got something in the post. And I may well do that again with the Gelli printed postcards. So that's what I've got the 3x5 for. I absolutely adore this one, and it's obviously quicker to clean up, and this is potentially one that I can use on my desk rather than setting up a massive workstation in the garden. It's handy, it doesn't take up a lot of room. And as I said, I've got a 2-inch roller on its way to me in the post, which will perfectly just cover that size. So yeah, that's my plan anyway. So that is the family Gelli Plate, and I will just show you very quickly these prints that I pulled. This is what I did last night. Again, out in the garden, I set up all of my paints. I say set up, I made a massive mess with all my acrylic paint and stencils and things on the patio table. And then I had the drying rack out, which I showed you in the HMS Gelli Plate maiden voyage video, which I will link down here. So if you haven't seen that, you can watch that if you so wish. So the setup was exactly the same, and I was playing around for, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half roughly, and I managed to get an hour in this morning before it started raining, which was awesome. So I started at 7:30 and it started to spit with rain at 8:30 in the morning this morning. So I managed to get everything in quick before it actually pelted down, which was excellent timing, to be honest. So anyway, these are the ones I pulled last night. These are all on plain postcards. So we have this one, and most of, or all of these, I've used a mixture of those Do Crafts Artiste cheap craft paint, and also the Pibeo, which is French. I found out, I looked on the packaging, it's not Spanish, it's French, and I don't speak French. I didn't learn French at school. We did German and Spanish, so I haven't got a clue how to pronounce it properly. But I'm still going to call it Pibeo because, really. So that's what I used. The metallic silver is a Crawford and Black big tube, which I picked up at the works. It was probably maybe, I don't know, £1.50 or £2 or something. It was very inexpensive, but it covers really nicely. So that's what I've been using. Just a mixture of the Do Crafts Artiste acrylic paints, the Pibeo Diners, and that's DYNA, and the high viscosity acrylics, which I got a set of the little tubes I was talking about the other day. I don't have them in here, so I can't show you, but they're just the little tubes, you know, kind of like a trial thing, and I am loving it. I've started to buy the larger the Diners in the big 150ml tubes. So eventually I want to have all of the colours, the Diners, the metallics, and the standard studio acrylics in the okay, why can't I talk today? In the Pibeo, because I'm loving the quality of it, and although it's a little more pricey, it's not expensive. So I've come to the conclusion that you do get what you pay for to a certain extent, and because I'm only using a small amount, especially if I use the small Gelli plates, I only need a drop. So they're going to last a long time. So it's an investment. Spot the deliberate mistake. It wasn't deliberate, actually. That's a lie. But it ended up being printed on the side where you write the address rather than. So that one won't get sent anywhere. This one was a clean up one, and I absolutely love how it came out. So there we have it. Those are the printed postcards that I did last night with the Gelli plates, and then there is a few book pages. This was like a roll-off sheet for the paint that was still on the stencils. I don't really think they're sort of stand-alone, but bits and pieces of them for collage or something, you know, you could cover over some of it. This was another roll-off sheet, and I think it looks quite cool, actually. And then I pulled these. This is off of that cartridge paper that I absolutely adore. And I just use tons of the stuff. You've probably seen it in several of my videos now. And there's a couple of ghosted stencil, the remnants that was on the stencil. So there we have it. Those are probably the ones that I will tear up or whatever to use parts and pieces, rather than using them as an exact background. Apart from this one, I like this one. I think that one came out very nicely. But we'll see, you know, they're there, they're done, who knows? That's the best part of art, surely, is that sometimes you haven't got the foggiest clue what you're going to do with what you create, but it's fun in the meantime with creating it. Right, so there we have it. That is the Gelli Plate family and the prints that I pulled last night. The ones I did this morning are on the drying rack at the moment, so I'm going to leave them for a little bit, but I will make a video when they're dry and I'll show you those ones as well in case you fancy having a look. Okay then guys, like I said, I'll link the first video in the description box, so that if you haven't watched the beginning of the Gelli Plate journey, then you can start from the beginning. So yeah, that's everything for now. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you later guys. Bye!